the Violet Primordial Ultima, also one of the 12 Guardian Generals and a leader of the Black Numbers. Despite her childish appearance, Ultima is in fact as cruel and calculative as Diablo. For example, one of her main goals was to manifest into the cardinal world with a physical body. So for centuries, she had countless failed attempts and ploys, such as when she was summoned by the Queen of Raja, who mistakenly believed her to be a goddess. The queen, desperate to save her people, pleaded for Violet's aid. Also, what she was saving her people from, basically Violet brainwashed her and made her paranoid that a big threat was coming, but Ultima was actually the one summoning the demon threats. Anyways, Violet gave her a magical tiara that could perform miracles. However, the tiara came with a deadly cost. Each use drained the wearer's life force and stained their skin with Violet's magic. Violet then formed a contract with the queen. If the queen or any of her descendants became fully stained by the tiara's magic, Violet would win the game and claim their body as her vessel. If they resisted the curse, the queen would win. Violet assigned her aide Lakua to observe the royal family, but when he disobeyed her by interfering, she was forced to end the game and sever ties with him. Years later, in the kingdom of Codius, Violet's admirer Gustav sought to create a new vessel for her by using Princess Zenobia. Despite interference, Gustav managed to seemingly succeed. However, Violet was displeased because instead of providing her with a material form, Gustav had merely forced her to manifest within Zenobia using her own power. The situation was further complicated when the demon lord Luminous, who was as powerful as Violet, witnessed the truth behind Gustav's scheme. Furious with his failure to meet her expectations, Violet killed him for his incompetence. Realizing that Zenobia's body was not suitable, she abandoned her and continued her search for a more fitting vessel. Until hundreds of years later, Diablo shows up and Violet decides to join Rimuru, lending her strength to him until she gets bored. This quickly changes because, you know, it's Rimuru, you're never gonna get bored when you're around this dude, so she decides to pledge her allegiance to our slime, gaining the name Ultima. Violet would serve as Tempest's chief judge, where Ultima is responsible for overseeing the interpretation and application of laws within Tempest. She ensures that the legal code is correctly followed and that judgments are consistent with the established legal framework. Rimuru chose her for this task because as a primordial, Ultima will have no biases against any defendant, meaning her ruling will always be fair and balanced. However, the area Ultima excels even better at is being a true demon lord and wielding the ultimate skill, Samuel, Lord of Poison. A good example of her power being showcased is her fight against Damrata of the Eastern Empire. He's not only a saint, but also one of the most powerful warriors in the Eastern Empire's military, only outclassed by Velgrind, Michael, and Kondo. But until she got this ultimate skill, she wasn't sure she was going to win. Ultima always felt inferior to the other primals as she could never use her powers to the same effect as her counterparts. But in her moment of desperation, CL went, "Here, have a free ultimate specifically suited for your weakness," as Samuel looked at a person's weakness and created a suitable poison for them. On top of that, the skill grants the Ultima thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord's haki, multidimensional barriers, and space-time manipulation. Ultima also has a skill known as World of Annihilation, which allows her to kill all life forms that don't have ultimate skills, leading Rimuru to ban the use of it, which just goes to show how strong she is. Oh yeah, this was never going to be a fair fight, and so Damrata was absorbed by the Primordial, with her gaining all his strength and experience. During the Great Tenma War, Ultima would be tasked with going to Demon Lord Daggerul's domain to lead an assault on Hera's tower, where she took on and defeated Pico and Gracia, two primordial demons alongside Daggerul. But the attack took a turn for the worst when Daggerul was converted to the enemy's side, forcing Rimuru to get involved. Now, if you guys are wondering why I'm zooming past their stories during the Tenma War, that's because after this 1.5 hour long Eastern Empire video I've been cooking, if that's successful, I want to do a full recap of the Tenma War. Meanwhile, go check out the Masayuki video because I see a lot of you didn't click on that. Please go watch that. Alongside Testarossa, Diablo also recruited the primordial yellow Jaune to Rimuru's black numbers. Jaune has the worst reputation out of all the primordials. Why? Because she's basically a high school delinquent looking for any excuse to enter a fight and is extremely carefree in nature. Before she became Rimuru's subordinate, she was tasked with guarding the underworld gate in Leon's territory at El Dorado. And every day, she would basically nuke the city. Leon's knights tried negotiating with her multiple times, but she didn't give two shits. She just wanted Leon to notice her so they could fight. For some context, hundreds of years before this, Jaune had created a powerful life form in a small country part of the sorceress dynasty of Salian. But Leon Cromwell, during his time as a chosen hero, just kind of waltzed in and beat the living shit out of it. While this was a power play by Yellow's sister Violet, she had no clue and spent all her time developing flashy and powerful magic so she could get revenge on Leon. But Yellow's life was about to change forever when Diablo showed up and recruited several powerful demons to Rimuru's cause, and she was a great asset, becoming one of Rimuru's 12 guardian generals known as Carrera now. While not in battle, Carrera is the chief justice, being tasked with delivering final judgments on criminal cases and disputes. But in terms of power, she has access to nuclear magic, being a formidable fighter. During the war with the Eastern Empire, she was able to take on Velgrinda for some time. While this ended in her defeat, it finally allowed her to become a true demon lord right after, which also helped her when she took on Tatsuya Kondo. Originally, this man was pretty much dominating every fight in the war due to him having an ultimate skill while she didn't. Like, Tatsuya Kondo is the fourth strongest in the entire empire. You have Michael at the top, Feldway, Velgrind, and then Tatsuya Kondo, and Carrera defeated this guy. But that was only thanks to Ciel showing up, granting Carrera the ultimate skill, Annihilation King Abaddon. This basically gives the Primordial the power of unlimited destruction, being the rupture of space and time, allowing Carrera to pull in Asta and surpass her limits. But the most important aspect of the ability is to pretty much nuke the world if she wanted to, casually. This was possible due to the ability Final Collapse Annihilation Wave, which was so strong even Kondo knew he couldn't withstand it. But what if I told you she didn't have one but two ultimates now? As after she defeated Kondo, he passed his soul to her, granting Carrera the ultimate skill Sandalphon, Lord of Condemnation, which lets her apply specific effects to her attacks, like breaking a person's magic offense and defense. But that's not all Kondo gave her. He also bestowed Carrera his gun. You know, the one that was able to brainwash Veldora and turn him to the Eastern Empire side? Yeah, that gun. So she can pretty much shoot anyone into submission, as well as a buttload of other bullets that can move at light speed and penetrate all barriers. So if you can't tell, Carrera isn't messing around, and during the Tenma War, she was taking on one of the insect lords known as Zes, who is said to have been on the same level of strength as the angel Zalarios. Meanwhile, go check out the Masayuki video, because I see a lot of you didn't click on that. Please go watch that.